Blessings, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night Alive. Welcome to a new idea, a new branding called Spiritual Perspectives. That will be really what I'm doing from now on. I love it so much. Tonight is we are doing spiritual perspectives on the pathway to decisions. So welcome. So my name is Reverend Denise Schubert. I am a New Thought minister, and I am the founder of A Life of Spiritual Power. And my goal here, as with everywhere, is to simply provide common sense, pragmatic conversations about practical spirituality that actually enable us to live happier, more peaceful, more empowered lives. That's why I'm here. Especially important in this day and age, especially important as we get older and redefine what's meaningful and what's of value. So I am so excited that you're here and so excited to share tonight with you. My inspiration comes very much from Raymond Charles Barker, who is a Unity minister, now gone, but a Unity minister who wrote a book called The Power of Decisions. Now, obviously, we all have to make many, many decisions all of our lives, every day. It is a serial experience of decision making. And I'm not sure most of us are very, very good at it. You can ask yourself, do you make decisions easily or do they come difficult? Do you have trouble landing on what's right and what's good? Or do you just procrastinate and just don't make them? So as always, this is a personal conversation, so please do feel free to apply this to yourself. So David, Terry, hello, Toby, Dina, I see you all. So great. Let me pray us in, and then we will dive into our conversation tonight. I am so glad you're with me for more reasons than I can share with you. So let's just take a breath. I invite you to take a breath. I invite you to take a deep breath. You could, in this moment, be in the middle of a big decision. You could be in this moment in the middle of indecision. But whatever you are, we're going to let that be so that you can show up here with me right here, right now, in this moment, open, willing, available, minds open, hearts open, receptive. For what I know is that there is an intelligence in this universe. It is undergirding and cradling everything and everyone. That includes us. It is omnipresent, meaning it is everywhere present. It is omnibenevolent, meaning it is all good. It is omnipotent, meaning all-knowing. And it is the very life that is living, breathing, and moving and having its being as your individualized life. And so I know that it is that which connects us to one another. It is that which inspires us into conversation. And so I give thanks in advance for the great good of tonight, knowing that if you're here, if I'm here, something good's got to happen. And so we just allow this time to unfold for the greatest good for all. Open your hearts, open your minds, let it be so, and so it is. Amen. So it is. Amen. So this conversation about decisions is a fun one because I myself have been deep in making decisions this month, like all kinds of decisions, moving decisions, work decisions, family decisions, vacation decisions. And it has occurred to me that it's kind of a piece of spiritual work. So I thought it'd be really great to lend the spiritual perspective to decision making. What affects our decision making? What should affect our decision making? How do we know that it's the best of you making the decision and not the ego of you making the decision? So I myself, I can't remember the last time I made a bad decision. I remember this wonderful story about a friend of mine when we were doing our ministerial oral panels, and there were 7 of us, and he normally the oral panel takes an hour, and it's where you as a new minister are interviewed by people. and they deem you fit to serve in ministry, right? So it's up to them to say you are ready to be set loose with other people. And I remember he came out of his panel, which by the way took hours. So everyone else's was like 45 minutes, and he was in his panel, and we're all in the cafeteria worried about him, and because we'd all been through school together, so we were close. And I remember he came out, and he was a great big guy, right? So he had a very big personality. And I remember him looking at us, and we're all looking at him like what happened? What happened? Tell us what happened to you. And he just stands there with so much dignity and so much pride. And he said, I just want you to know that nothing in my life has ever gone wrong. And with that, he left the room. And as it turned out, he did not pass his oral panels, but he personified what it means to live life taking responsibility for whatever shows up. Because, right, one of the key components of our practice and our work is that we are not victims, that we are powerful co-creators, and whatever happens ultimately happens for our greater good. But with that said, decisions are an interesting thing. I love this one quote from Charles Barker, who says, "Problems do not improve you." So part of the foundational work about moving through life, one aspect of that work is to recognize that and to acknowledge that we are not tested by God to be better people. So suffering is not part of the divine plan. Now, it doesn't mean we don't suffer, because obviously we do. And it doesn't mean that bad things don't happen to good people and bad whatever. It doesn't mean all of that. But what it means is that that's all on us, not on God. So there is nothing in the divine plan that says you'll be a better person if you have a lot of problems. Because if you believe that, then what must you have to become a better person? I'm listening. Of course, you must have lots of problems. I remember there was this singer who came to the Unity Church in Naples, and she did this beautiful concert one night. And she had made her fame on writing song lyrics about breakups. So her songs were gut-wrenching. Everyone could connect to them and feel them, because who has not been in a breakup? But somewhere in the night she said, but I've had a realization lately that if I want to keep earning my keep on writing stories, sad stories about breakup trauma, then I've got to keep breaking up. So it's kind of like that. Like life will be to us whatever we are to it. So we need to write a new script. We need to write a new story. And we need to trust that somewhere in there, a new story and a new script will be working for us. So let's do a couple of basic things. So in this philosophy, faith, and way of life, we believe that the universe is awaiting our instructions. So we are telling it what to do by every thought that we think and every feeling that we feel, every subconscious and conscious decision that we make, that we plant seeds which ultimately bear fruit in our experience. Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith used to say, ask the universe an empowering question. Don't ask the universe, listen very carefully here. Don't ask the universe, why am I poor? Because the universe will give you answers. You are poor because you're stupid. You are poor because you're not a good money manager. You are poor because you came from a poor family. You're poor because you don't have a college education. And then when it runs out of things that relate to you, it'll make up things about other people. You're poor because of this. You're poor because of that. So rather than asking the universe a disempowering question, we want to ask the universe empowering questions. Now, the flip of why am I so poor could be why. What do I need to know to have more money in my life? Because the universe will answer your question. Well, what you need to know is you need to know this and this. You need to know who to call, where to go, what kind of job to apply for, what your calling is. Do you understand what I'm saying? So depending on your mentality, the universe is sitting there waiting to give you something. It's the same with our decisions, that when you make a decision and you commit to that decision with belief and faith, the universe will work itself out in order to satisfy that which you are asking for. Now, another big idea here, I know I cover big ideas, but I think it's good. You get to mull on them all week. Charles Barker said, Reverend Barker says, we seek too little within ourselves for the right ideas and correct answers. We accept the testimony of our five senses as being the reality of life. We accept the testimony of our five senses as being the reality of our life. Like what you can see, touch, taste, smell, and feel is real. But you and I have been studying together, most of us, for a long time, that's not true at all. That what the things that we can experience with our senses are the things we've created with our imagination and our creativity and our decision making and our that which is non-visible. We have used that which is non-visible to create visible things, which we then taste, feel, touch, and smell. He says, every mystic and teacher, every religion and philosophy have explained with great care that the factual world should always be questioned. Because a thing is a fact does not mean it's a reality. The search for ideas from within your own consciousness brings ultimate satisfaction. It keeps you evolving in consciousness and unfolds for you in your experience the new, the fresh, and the difference, and the different. So how decision making got created for us is when we were born and you were raised in your families and you were raised with your parents, your grandparents, your aunties and uncles and your teachers, your preachers. For the very first decade for sure, or maybe 2 decades, someone else made all the decisions for us. That we did not make the decisions for ourselves, right? It was decided where we would go to school, whether or not we would go to church, what we would eat for dinner, what clothes we would wear. So we were indoctrinated early on into allowing for others to make decisions for us. Now, we still do this to some degree, but let me read you a little excerpt from the book, The Power of the Decision. He says, the world of other people's decisions is not your world. No matter how wise and kind these people may be, no matter how much they love you and care for you, they are only maintaining your childhood pattern of indecision, the pattern of leaning on other minds rather than your own. God made your mind to think your thoughts and not someone else's thoughts. So where this is and could be important is how much weight you put on other people's opinions about your decisions, or how much you look to other people in order to make your decision. Now, it's probably ultimately not a great idea to do that because, as he said, everyone, and as Don Miguel Ruiz in the Four Agreements also talks about this, that everyone lives in their own dream. Everyone lives in their own conditioning, their own reality, what they believe is true and real, what they believe is right and wrong. And none of those people are you. Now, God and you are a majority. You don't need anyone or anything other than your internal connection to the ultimate intelligence in this universe to make intelligent decisions. I'm going to say that again. That you are, I'm going to say it in a different way. You are an individualized point of consciousness, point of intelligence in an intelligent universe. And you, as that point of intelligence, created by pure intelligence, living in an intelligent universe, have everything you need within you to make good, wholesome, positive, forward-thinking, forward-moving, life-expanding decisions for yourself. So one, we'll see as we go through a list of things, one idea is simply just to give yourself spiritual authority. Give yourself the right to choose and to make the decisions you want to make. Are you with me? Let's see. Yeah. So a couple of things. So we're sitting at a place where we know that we all are making decisions. Listen, we make decisions. How many decisions do we make every single day? What shall I wear? What should I eat? Where should I go? Who should I talk to? Who should I have dinner with? And I don't know, maybe there are big decisions and small decisions, but I think every decision I make feels like a commitment to the quality of my own life, even having dinner with people, even, what movie I'll go to, like, can I sit where I sit, connecting my intelligence to universal intelligence and make decisions that will forward me in life. So I believe I'm going to give you 4 ideas that might help you in your decision making. One, probably one of the most important ones, is to believe in the power of decision, which means to believe in the power of your word having power in the universe in which you live. Now, this may sound like a simple idea, but it is a core, fundamental, you can't get past it idea in the metaphysical interpretation of the spiritual universe we live in. Thoughts are things. Decisions are the context out of which the content of your life will flow. So believe in the analogy seed, soil, plant. You plant a carrot seed, you get a carrot. You plant a tomato seed, you get a tomato. You plant hatred, you get hatred. You plant love, you get love. You plant the idea of abundance, you get abundance. You plant the idea of poverty, you get poverty. So if you can, and I strongly suggest that you do, if you can accept that you live in a pliable universe that is waiting for you to plant seeds, you will be way more cautious and intentional about the seeds that you plant. But you have to believe in the power of deciding, the power of your word, the power of prayer, the power of intention, the power of commitment. And this means acquiring a kind of a spiritual authority and autonomy. So that leads into really what I've just said, is that thought control. This is a quote from Reverend Barker. He says, "Thought controlled is experience delivered, is determined or delivered." I like my word too. Thought controlled is experience determined. Life requires of us disciplined thinking if we are to become the full expressions of God's plan. Now listen, we live in a climate, a cultural climate that does not exalt the individual's right to make its own decisions, that we are sheep, and that we are led around by our noses. Well, for sheep, maybe it's our ears, through the news, through the media, into what we should think and why we should think it. And your spiritual power, your life of spiritual power, comes from deciding to think whatever you want to think. And it takes time. You have to discern. You have to be vigilant in asking yourself, what do I believe and why do I believe it? And then you choose whether or not it serves you. Because there is no ultimate reality in the world of forms and effects. It's all the end result of consciousness, individual or collective. And the only person around who can live your life for you is you. And you can decide. You are not here to please people. You're not here to please society. You're not here to make your mama happy or ease your papa's pain. You're here to live a fully alive, happy life. Remember, problems do not improve you. So it's okay to be happy. So this is a good idea to embrace. Disciplined thinking. And only you can really do this, by the way. Nobody knows your heart. Nobody really knows you. Who knows you? Who really knows you? If you have somebody who really knows you, you hang on to them with all your might. Because it's such a blessing and a gift to be seen for who you are and accepted for who you are, the choices you make, the decisions you make, and the life you choose to live. And I so strongly encourage you to live the life you want to live, because ultimately you can't take anyone with you, right? So one is the belief in the power of the decision. Also, before I move on, don't worry too much about any wrong decisions you have made, because, as Barker says, any wrong decision you have made will become unimportant to you when your attention is shifted from it meaning the wrong decision, to a creative reason for living right here and right now. This is a very important spiritual practice and idea, because we've all made mistakes out of ignorance. Right? Ernest Holmes said, I have it here. I have what Ernest Holmes said because it's so good. Ernest Holmes said, okay, I just love how I can't find things when I need them. Anyway, Ernest Holmes said, essentially, there is no sin but a mistake, and no punishment other than consequence. So when most of us live making unintelligent decisions based on our conditioning, which have unpleasant consequences, until we begin to awaken to our spiritual magnificence, our authority to change our minds and to decide what we want to decide and to choose what we want to choose. And what he's saying here is that once you do that, whatever you did wrong in the past is meaningless. It's just an error. A sin in metaphysical terms means a mistake, missing the mark. So when we're unloving, unkind, nasty, bitchy, sometimes even cruel or evil, it's all because we don't know who we really are. We think we're a product of this crazy, crazy world, and we're a product of pure, infinite intelligence. So don't worry about your past mistakes. You're going to live from this day forward, today forward. Starting today, you can make good, healthy decisions, right? You can make decisions that are in alignment with who you really are. So the second, in addition to believing in the power of decision, the second idea is really to ignore the well-meaning advice of people who aren't you. And all this, I already covered this a little bit, but all this really means is your parents, your siblings, your best friends, your ex-husband, your current wife, your pastor, the news, all will have advice for you. What you should do, what you shouldn't do, why you shouldn't do it. That advice will always come from a perspective that is not you. You and pure infinite wisdom and intelligence are a majority. So when you have a decision to make, you don't ask the world, you ask yourself, since this pure presence of infinite intelligence or God is within you. What should I do here? That's your question. What is the highest and best decision I can make here? Sometimes if you don't know what to do, write it on a piece of paper and put it under your pillow at night. What should I do about the job? Yes or no, under your pillow. And let the universe work with you rather than your best friend. Way better way to make decisions. Sometimes what I do, you might love this one. Sometimes I want to hear from another person. I need to hear words. So I will go to somebody I already love and trust, and I will say, I need to make an important decision. I want to ask you, but I need you to put your ego aside and answer me as if you were God. I do that. Then I'll say, tell me what you think about my taking on this job. And then I listen to them answer me. Now, I still discern myself, but sometimes you can get really clear words spoken to you when you ask people to just download from somewhere what their thoughts are about what you ask if they were the queen or king of the universe. It works actually pretty well. So stick to your own counsel. Believe in the power of decision. Stick to your own counsel. The third pathway to good decisions is I have loved this one for so many years. It has never let me down. I have, I can't remember the last time I disobeyed it within myself. And this was also a Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith idea. And he said, whenever you have a full body yes, it's a yes. And full body, this is actually a very, very, leads into the next one. A full body yes feels right. It feels good. It means there's nothing within you warning you. Danger, danger, Robbie, danger, Robbie, danger, Robbie. That's not a yes. Danger, Robbie is a no. So he said a full body yes is a yes. A full body no is a no. And sometimes I say that like it's easy, but really to say yes to something, your yes may not be without anxiety or fear within you. Like if somebody offers you a huge job, you might not feel qualified. You may feel it's too big. You may not want to move to Detroit. You may feel underqualified. It may be too much money in your comfort zone, but it's still a full body yes. So you're going to say yes, even though it scares you a little bit. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because there's something in you that will know that you know that you know. A full body no is exactly the same. It's like you want the job. It's like pays you really good money. You get to go live in Hawaii, but something in you says no. Do not ignore what your body says to you. It is so foolish because it is your direct connection to infinite wisdom. Dr. Beckwith would say, maybe is also a no. Now, you'll have to discern that for yourself, but he would say a maybe is still a no. That if you get a maybe, just wait. Just wait. Just be patient and sit and see what happens. See how you feel. See how the next conversation goes. That you don't have to commit 1 minute before you're ready to commit to anything. You don't have to decide anything 1 minute before you're ready to decide. So full body yes, or wait. It leads to the last one really, which is that a good and aligned decision will feel good and right. By aligned, I'm talking as myself, as a minister and a spiritual seeker, that you are looking for alignment with your higher self. You're looking for alignment with your spiritual self. You're not looking for alignment with your ego. So your higher self is loving, your higher self is kind, your higher self is compassionate, your higher self is intelligent, your higher self is healthy, wealthy, and wise. Your higher self wants to do good in the world. Your higher self has a higher purpose in the world. So an aligned decision means that the decision is alignment with your values, what's important to you. Like, and this is not really too spiritual or not really too complicated. So if you're a lover of animals, you're probably not going to go work in a slaughterhouse, right? If you are, for example, I'll give you an example, personal example. For up until ministry, I worked for law firms. I was a law firm executive, technology executive for many, many years. And as I evolved spiritually, as I came to be more loving, kind, and compassionate, I found that working in a litigating law firm wasn't really pleasant for me, because in law firms, there has to be winners and losers. Somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. And the more spiritual I got, the more I wanted to be in a win-win. Why can't it work out for everyone? Why does a wife have to get annihilated? Why does a husband in divorce have to get decimated? Do you understand what I'm saying? So now the decisions you make on what to go, how to spend your time, what to spend your money on, how to prioritize your life, has to be in alignment with who you aspire yourself to be. So that would, and by the way, so when you make a decision, you get to see if it feels good. How do you know it feels good? Well, you will sleep well. You won't feel secretive or embarrassed. You will feel empowered into your best self, and you will feel expansive. So decisions are necessary to set the wheel of life in motion. So remember, going back to the beginning of our time together, the universe is waiting your instructions. And your instructions are coming to it through your feelings and your desires and your imagination and your commitments. The true creative force in the world is your subconscious, not your conscious mind. So it's really what's not seen by you that's part of you, which is why we have to work. To uncover the soul-centered or the spirit-centered decisions. I realize I want to read you one more thing from Reverend Barker. It's called Watch Your Alibis. And he says, as a thinker, you determine your experience. There is nothing to oppose you but your own subconscious patterns of inferiority and frustration. Make mental notes of your alibis and excuses for your mistakes. These will reveal to you the patterns in your subconscious mind which need to be negated by you. The spirit within you wants you to see yourself as you have created yourself. Seeing your own self-creation, you can then, through mental treatment, gradually whittle away your deeply rooted failure patterns and replace them with a new self-acceptance concept that will cause you to create what you want in your world. That was a little bit intellectual, but essentially all it was saying is that if you're 40 years old, you've had 40 years of subconscious belief systems implanted when you were children, creating in the world. And if you will watch what you're thinking, right where that is where reality gets created for you. So when you notice not good enough, not worthy, want to capitulate to society or to another person, just notice it and make a different choice. Decide something different than doing that. You have the right to do it. You were made to do it. You've been created to do it. You have the backing of the entire intelligent universe to do it. There's nothing stopping you from having anything, from being, doing, and having whatever it is that you want, other than your own self-image and your willingness or unwillingness to make healthy decisions. So believe in the power of decision, believe in it. Ignore the well-meaning advice of people who aren't you. You and God are a majority, so keep your own counsel. A full body yes. A full body yes, go forward. Full body no, hang back. And always check how you're feeling, and which is actually probably the most important. If you decide to take a job and you can't sleep for 2 nights and are worried to death, it's probably the wrong decision. That's all I got to say. If somebody asks you to marry them and you say yes, and you're filled with excitement and you feel empowered, yay, full body yes. If you say, oh my God, what have I done? You start drinking too much wine, probably not a good idea. Final, I should have put number 5 here. I'll put number 5 right now. Ready? I'm going to give you number 5 right this minute. Create a banner. I'm doing it right now. There you go. You have the right to change your mind. You have the right to change your mind. You have the right to change your mind about anything. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You can always change your mind. Just say, oh my God, I'm so sorry I spoke too soon. Just say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't think this through, but I have other engagements. You can find a loving way to change your mind about anything. All right. So that is it. That was our evening on spiritual perspectives, making powerful and aligned decisions, pathways to decisions. I love this talk. Listen, spiritual, I'm going to show you, I have new branding and I love the new branding. Spiritual perspectives. So every week we will have a different spiritual perspective on something that is of value to us as we navigate our spiritual life. I'm going to show you my donation page. So, by the way, I'm actually saving up to go back to see Tanya at Bush Baby Haven, who is expecting her first baby. So if you are fed by Sunday Night Alive and by Spiritual Perspectives, please feel free to do a love offering or a tithe. You can do that to PayPal, Zelle, or Venmo to revdschubert@gmail.com or on my website. If you are interested in some spiritual counseling, you can contact me at revdschubert@gmail.com as well. I would be happy to work with you for trying to release old patterns or old ways of thinking. And if you want to, I'm going to resume my blog under Spiritual Perspectives with just a kind of a new fresh look, and you can sign up for that at my website as well. So let us pray out. We are done for the day. Hopefully, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm so happy to see you here, to see you all here. So let's just take a breath together. Decisions are a part of life. We cannot live in life without making decisions. Now, you could not make decisions. I think an antonym for decisions was wishy-washy. So you can let other people make your decisions. You cannot make decisions and nothing will happen. You can confuse the universe by shifting decisions. But if you want to move forward in a healthy, powerful, creative way, you will have to decide, and you will have to declare your decisions. When you do that, the universe knows what you want, and it will produce a carrot for you, right? So, all right, let's just take one final breath together. Just so good to take a moment to turn away from all the fear, doubt, and negativity, to take for me personally, just a great opportunity to step outside the drama of living into the peace that is at the very heart of our spiritual identity, the peace that leaves us unbotherable by people, places, situations, and conditions. And as we turn within together, we're turning within to that dimension within us that is whole, perfect, and complete, that is not broken, nothing's missing, nothing needs to happen to make us spiritual. We are already perfect in the eyes of God. We're already perfect in the eyes of this infinite intelligence and wisdom that created us. And so it is from that place of recognizing God at the center of my being, the God at the center of your being, knowing it is the golden thread that connects us one to another, that I just proclaim for each one within the sound of my voice that we are good, powerful, aligned decision makers. We do not hesitate to call forth our good. We do not hesitate to carve a pathway in life that is in alignment with our deepest values, our most meaningful commitments. And that when we do that, those things happen. It's just the way it works. It's how it works. And so I accept for each one of us that we release any not feeling good enough, any not feeling powerful enough. We release any wrong decisions or old decisions that are holding us back. We change our minds whenever is necessary. And then we allow that we walk our walk with power, poise, and confidence. That's how it's meant to be. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the time we spent here tonight. I'm grateful for the opportunity to pause in the week and remember important things that enable us to move through life with more elegance. And so for this and so much more, and all the good and all the relationship between us, this little community that we have here, I'm grateful. We let it be. We let it be together by saying, and so it is. Amen. All right. Peace and blessings, everyone. Go forth and make all kinds of decisions. And I will see you next week on Spiritual Perspectives with some new great topic. Have a great evening.